as you're joining us, welcome. My name is Jessica Record. I'm the president of EduConnect USA. We will be recording this presentation. So if you join us a little late or if you have any issues, we'll be sending it to you following the presentation. And we'll be able to use some of the clips to post as well so that you have access to that on social media. But thank you everybody for joining. This is, like I mentioned, with a couple new people, I'm Jessica Record, the president of EduConnect USA. We designed this PowerPoint, this presentation today to bring everybody together to answer questions that we get most often, especially from our potential students who are currently on J-1 visas. But it's also for anybody who is in the US on a non-immigrant visa. And even if you are outside of the country, I know we have a couple people who are outside of the country who are looking into working and studying in the US. This presentation is for everybody. So thank you and welcome. The way that we are going to start today is we are going to go through some of our frequently asked questions. And then we are also joined by 3 of our current and active wonderful students from 3 different countries. All were here on J1s. All live in different cities across the country. So the second half of the presentation will let them share their experience and answer some questions. And the first part, we'll talk about change of status, what it is. And we'll talk about the MBA program and go through all of our frequently asked questions. So we have our 3 students here. We have Saroj, Louisa, and Abhishek. And like I mentioned, they'll join us in the second half. And I would like to introduce now Rodrigue Coliani. Rodrigue is the CEO of EduConnect USA. His experience and makes him really uniquely positioned to speak to the topic that we have today. So I think it's the best that he gets us started. So Rodrigue, take it away.
Well, thank you, Jessica, and thank you all for joining this webinar today on the subject of, changing status, extending your stay in the US when you're on a J-1 visa. It's a topic that I really, I'm really passionate about. So to tell you quickly about myself, again, I'm Rodrigue Coliani. I'm originally from France, and I've been here in the US for 28 years now. The reason why I want to talk about this topic, and it's really personal to me, is because I have been myself a J-1 visa 28 years ago. I arrived in the US from France, recently graduated from a business school, and I wanted to, get opportunity, study, work in the US. And experience a different lifestyle, a different culture, a different way of working, as probably all of you here today wanted to do, have an opportunity, And after my J-1 visa, I started a company to help international students just like you to come to the US and help them from A to Z, finding a host company, opening a bank account, getting a social security number, obtaining a J-1 visa, finding housing, and all the services that you had to sometimes struggle to do when you arrive in the US. So I started a company, a J-1 company, and a sponsor organization. So I'm very familiar with the regulations surrounding the J-1 visa. In general, I would say immigration regulation, the different type of visa to be able to stay in the US, such as H-1B, E-visa for investors, L-1 for transferees. So really, I think all of you here that are coming from so many different countries are doing a J1 and you have several questions that I'm sure you want to answer. You want to know if it's possible to stay in the US after the J1 visa. What options do you have to stay in the US? Can I work and study at the same time? Can I afford an MBA in the US? All of those questions we're going to talk about during this webinar, and how to make it the most efficiently possible, because obviously there are several options to do that. Some of them are more costly than others. Some of them, like the H-1B visa, require an employer to sponsor you. It's also very difficult right now to obtain an H-1B visa because of the lottery, because of a lot of things. So after 25 years in this experience, we at EduConnect, with Jessica, with our partner university, with many organizations that works in the J1 industry, we have developed a program specifically for J1 interns, J1 trainees who want to extend their stay, who want to study and get an MBA in the US and grow in the US, have more opportunities. So this is what we're going to present you today. So on this slide, you see three big major questions that I had, 28 years ago, and you probably had. So is it possible to stay in the US after my current visa ends? So on the next slide, we're going to specifically talk about that. So Jessica, if you want to put the next slide. First of all, the answer is yes, you can. It's not that difficult, and there are valid options for you. You probably, if you have done some research, you heard about the H-1B visa. This is very difficult to get. The employer needs to sponsor you. You need to go through an immigration attorney. The cost is very expensive, and there are quotas. Last year, approximately 1 out of 14 applicants was able to get an H-1B visa, because there are only 55,000 H-1B visa, and over 400,000 people requested an H-1B visa within 3 days when they opened the quota. So it's very difficult. But please be positive. There are other options. You can do what is called a change of status to a student visa. And by registering into a university in the US for an MBA program, and while you do your MBA, you can continue working with your current employer or with a new employer under what is called a CPT, a curriculum practical training. And this is an option valid, which was quite difficult 2 years ago to get, because when you do a change of status, you have to apply to the immigration department. And until June 2023, when you requested a change of status, you had to wait between 6 and 12 months to get an answer, which made it almost impossible for any J1, because you had to stay in the US for 12 months after your J1 program without working, just waiting for your change of status to be approved. So nobody was doing change of status, because who can afford to stay 12 months in the US without working and without being able to actually do anything? So nobody was using the change of status option. Now, in June 2023, the government, the immigration department, allowed for J1 intern and trainee to do what is called a premium processing, which means that you can change status from J1 to F1, which is a student visa, in less than 30 days. The premium option allows you to get your change of status expedited. So that's really important for you to know, is that you can change status from J1 to F1 in less than 30 days toward the end of your program. So usually what most of our clients, students do, is that they wait the last month of their J1 visa to do their change of status and then get an F1 visa. Obviously, they need to register way in advance and prepare the filing of their change of status way in advance. But they'll file it with premium processing during the last months of their J1 visa. What's really important to know also is that when you do a change of status to an F1 visa, you don't need an employer to sponsor you. or a sponsor organization. You can do it by yourself. The only thing that you need is to register into an accredited university that accept international students. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next few slides, is how to do it. So just to, again, give the key benefits. To do a change of status, you don't need an employer to sponsor you. First, also, you don't need to return to your home country. You can do it within the US. You don't have to return to your country. And with the expedited premium services, you get an answer in 30 days. To be honest, in the last 2-3 months, we have students who get their change of status approved sometimes within 2 business days. In average, right now, it takes approximately 7 business days. So it's very, very quick and very, very successful. What I mean by that also, the key, if you are from India, if you are from the Philippines, if you are from South America, as you may know, a lot of embassy right now and a lot of students are getting their visa denied, or they cannot get visa appointments to go to the embassy. The good thing is, like, if we take, for example, India, we have approximately 30% of the students that get their visa approved and 70% who get their visa denied. By doing a change of status, I'm not going to say it's 100% sure that you will get your change of status approved, but we've been very, very successful, and more than 95%, to be honest, actually more than 98% of our students get their change of status approved. So I'm going to be also transparent. Within the last 6 months, we have 100% approval in change of status. So even if right now, as you may know, the political environment, the immigration environment is not the best when you are an international student applying to a consulate abroad. But the change of status applying within the United States has been very, very good for us and very, very good for the students. So we do highly recommend that if you want to extend your stay, if you want to stay in the US, to register into an MBA and do a change of status from J-1 to F-1 within the United States without going back to your home country and applying at the embassy, because you will get the risk of being denied at the embassy. So that's really the key step of the change of status. Now, how does EduConnect, our company, can help you? Just a quick history about EduConnect. EduConnect was formed in 2017. It's been specializing for the last 8 years in what we call work and study programs. So we partner with university, and we decided to help specifically J-1 intern and trainee who wanted to study in the US and continue working. So that's basically the mission and the vision under EduConnect. As far as I'm concerned, I told you previously, for 22 years, I work and I founded a J-1 organization. I was a sponsor organization. I mean, many of you have used sponsor. You had to use sponsor to be here on the J-1 visa to get your DS 2019. So we know this industry very well. As experts in change of status, we're going to help you prepare your filing. We're going to review it, one by one, on an individual basis. Look at your resume, look at your filing, look at your paperwork, your financial situation, everything, so that you can apply for change of status. We're going to help you prepare all the documents so you can submit it to the immigration department. And then, like I said, most likely you're going to have an answer within 7 business days. Now, sometimes you have what is called an RFE, a request for evidence, for additional information from the government. And they send you a letter and say, well, we received your application for a change of status, but we want to know more. We want to make sure you were in good status during your J-1 visa. Do you have something from your employer, from the sponsors that state that you've been there for 6 months, for 12 months, and you've been in good standing? So, we're going to help you prepare a letter, ask your employer to sign it, or we're going to ask you, to compile your payrolls and show to the government that you've been working for that J-1 company for 12 months. So even if you get an RFE, don't stress. it's very common to get a request for additional information. We will help you to prepare the documents and send it to the immigration department. Now, if some of you may be subject to what is called the 2-year rule. On your J-1 visa, inside your passport, on your DS 2019, some of you might have the mention that says that you have to return to your home country for 2 years before applying for a new visa. Don't worry, that happens. But in that case, you need to prepare in advance, and you can request a waiver and remove that restriction to be able to continue and stay in the US. So even if you have the 2-year rule on your visa or in your DS 2019, you can take actions to remove that restriction and still stay in the US after your J-1 visa. But in that case, you have to contact us earlier, and we will help you, who you should contact, what you should do to get a waiver on the 212E regulations. The next slide, please. So quickly, how does a change of status process work? First of all, the key points is before you file for a change of status, you need to contact us and you need to be registered into a university in the US, okay? You need to have what is called an I-20 from an accredited university. An I-20 is the equivalent of what you have right now of the DS 2019, okay? But instead of being for a J-1 visa, it's from a university and it's for a student visa. Once you get admitted to a university and once you get your I-20, then you can start the change of status, because to file for a change of status, you will need the I-20 in hands. So obviously, one of the key things is that in our program, we partner with university that will allow you to register and get an I-20, and more important, you will allow you to work while you're in the US. And Jessica will talk more about it during the next slide. But first, let me take a look at the process. First of all, we'll look at the COS options. Are you eligible? What do you need to do to prepare for your change of status? Do you have the 2-year rule in your visa? If you do, how to get rid of it, how to get a waiver. If you don't, we can start right away and send you, a service agreement, help you register to the correct university. And then we're going to collect a service fee for the change of status, where we're going to review all your documents and help you prepare not only the files and the forms that needs to be filled out for the US Immigration Department, but also we're going to help you prepare all the supporting document to your application. There is very detailed list of supporting documents. And when I talk about supporting documents, I mean that, for example, you will have to provide your DS 2019. You will have to provide a copy of your passport. You will have to provide a copy of your bank statement to show that you have the funds sufficient to study in the US. You will have a whole list of supporting documents, and we're going to review it with you to make sure that everything is correct, to make sure when the immigration department see them, they don't ask any question, and to make sure your file is complete. When everything, the COS forms and the supporting document are combined and Jane and all together, then we file for the change of status with USCIS. USCIS stands for United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Okay, so it's very straightforward. We are very used to preparing change of status. As I say, during the last 6 months, we have 100% of visa approved through change of status, which is quite amazing for all nationalities. And I will let Jessica take it over from there. Jessica, are you there? Oh, I think Jessica froze. All right. So let me share my screen. We have some technical issues here. And I hope you can see my screen. Jessica, can you see my screen?
Yes.
I think you froze. So you want to take over, Jessica?
Yes, yes. Please let me know if that happens again. I'm sorry, everybody.
No problem.
The second big question that we get asked a lot is, okay, if I'm going to change my status. Rodrigue talked about the different options. You know, some people say, like, I know I want to stay after my J-1. I'm going to do an H-1B. Rodrigue discussed the challenges that come with that. There are opportunities, but lots of barriers and challenges right now, unfortunately. The other thing that I see a lot is interns, trainees get to the very end of their position and they think, I want to stay here. What can I do? And they know of change of status, but they immediately switch to a B tourist visa. And that is an option, but there's limitations to it as well. So what we are talking about here, and we'll talk more about our specific program, is that a really great option that allows you to continue to work is to actually come on an F-1 student visa. But a lot of people then have the question, wait, I thought international students can't work while they study. And this is something that the answer is yes, you can work while you study, but it really depends on the program and the university. So there is provisions in the F-1 student visa that allow you to work, and there's two different types. The first one is called curricular practical training, or we call it CPT for short. And that means that you can work while you're studying if your program allows it. So some universities have extra classes that you pay for, and they allow you to do an internship. Some universities only allow you to work on campus and certain jobs, but some universities have curricular practical training, CPT, embedded within the program. That means it's a requirement of the program. They want you to get the experience in the real world while you're studying about it. And so that's the first way that you can work. So CPT is the ability to work while you are studying. The second type of work authorization under an F-1 visa is called optional practical training, or we call it OPT for short. And that is following your studies. So once you graduate at every level in the United States, you have the ability to apply for OPT. And this is an additional work experience following your studies that you apply for, we assist you in, and then you get what's called an EAD card, an employment authorization document. So it's basically a work permit that's tied to your F-1 visa that allows you to continue practicing what you learned in your degree program. So you're still under the F-1 visa, but you have this EAD card. So especially within our program, we designed it this way. So we have an amazing partner university that I'll tell you a little bit more in depth in an upcoming slide, but it's Alliant International University, and their whole model and mindset is it's a professional practice university, meaning that it's one thing for you to get a degree in a subject, but unless you actually have that experience, then you are not yet prepared for the workforce. You know, you need to have both the academic side and the practical training side in order to be prepared. So the way that Rodrigue talked about EduConnect getting involved is looking at, like, what do our students need? What does the workforce need? And so both want well-rounded people who have experience. So the way that we design this program with Alliant is that work experience is embedded throughout the entire study program. So in every term, not only are you allowed to work, but you're expected to work. It's part of the program. So you're taking your courses and you're working while you study. So that's a great benefit. So if you're looking for options, that's one big thing to ask a university. is, can I work while I study, and how can I do that? Am I going to be paying for additional internship classes? Am I going to be stuck only working select on-campus jobs, or will I have CPT embedded in the program? And that's what we are talking about. That's what we have too. So the other thing, the other layer is you're going to find universities just like this one that offer CPT embedded in the program. That's great. But the other thing that, the other barrier is that, okay, you're allowed to work, but how are you going to get a position? So that's always difficult for students. And now I'm saying students because it's F1 side. That's another layer of support that EduConnect provides. So EduConnect has a department called Career Connect. And that makes sure, so yes, you're allowed to study. Yes, you're supposed to study or work while you study. This makes sure that you have the ability and the position to do so. So especially with our change of status, our J-1 to F-1, we have a group of students who want to stay with their position. They've been working, you know, in New York or in Texas or whatever, and they have a position, they've been trained there, they really like it, they want to stay, they have housing. So with Career Connect, our team will help work with your HR to explain the differences. Okay, that you were hired on a J-1, you can still work as an F-1. In fact, it's in some ways it's a lot easier. So you get authorization from the school, they help talk to your HR, they help make that bridge, that connection so that you can stay with the position that you have. We also have some interns and trainees who decide, fresh start, I want a new position. So if that's you, then Career Connect would help with that as well. So some of the students that you'll be hearing from really soon went through this process as well on finding a new position. So the American, if you came on a J-1, you probably had a lot of assistance securing your position. The American job market is so unique, and HRs are looking for such unique things. We want to make sure you know all of those rules and regulations and just tricky things, you know, bypassing AI, the ATS systems that kind of restrict applications. So it's a very holistic approach where you're learning the American system, learning how to find the positions and apply for them, but also the individual coaching, interview coaching, making sure that you can secure that position. So yes, you can work while you study. The third big question is, can I afford an MBA? It's not a shock or a surprise to anybody that the cost of education in the United States is very high. And that's something for me that as a American who went through the higher education system, this is something that's extremely important to me because the cost is very high. So we hear that a lot, like, yes, I would love to do this. This sounds great, but I can't afford an MBA. The way we design this program is that to make it affordable for a lot more people. You know, it's often the case for international students studying in the US that it can only be the 1%, the top, the highest income earners who can afford to come to the US and study. You need money to, like, because you're only studying in a lot of these positions. You know, we don't think that's the right model. For us, we want to be able to make this program accessible to as many people as possible. So that the way that we've worked with Alliance and collaborated with them is a couple different ways to make this affordable. So the first big one is we were able to negotiate a $6,000 grant for those who are qualified for the executive MBA program. So $6,000 to reduce your tuition right away. And then the other thing that we wanted to do that is not done often in the US is payment plans. So instead of the big tuition payments where you're paying a semester in advance, a term in advance, sometimes a year in advance, that's not attainable for a lot of people. So we restructured the payment system so that you're making smaller biweekly payments every 2 weeks throughout the 2 years that you're studying and working, so that you're able to make those payments, you're able to pay off your tuition while you are studying and working. And so to make this super clear, we want to be very transparent about the program fees for this program. So we have it all broken down here so you can see for yourself. So the way that Alliant charges is per course and per unit. So it's $787 per unit, and there's 36 units. So that brings the total program fee for the MBA to $28,332. So like I mentioned, the very first thing that we have is we have a grant that's that comes from Alliant and EduConnect. So that's $6,000. So if you take that off, the tuition is now, or the program fee is now down to $22,332. So we have a couple payments that are made right at the beginning. As you are, registering, and then we have a down payment. So we have a registration fee of $375 and a down payment after we meet with you, after you make sure it's a good program for you. And the down payment is $3,130. So for a lot of the interns and trainees that we work with who came on J-1s, their J-1 program cost anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000. It was important to us that we kept our down payment towards the lower end of that. And it's also lower than what you would pay for a term of tuition at another university. So that's something that there is a down payment, but we want to keep it as manageable as possible. So those are the payments that are right up front for the program. After that, our students pay every 2 weeks, and the amount is $392. So you're paying that every other week. The way the program is broken down is you have 1 year that you're studying. You're taking all your courses in 1 year. And then after that, you're working in CPT. If you remember, we talked about those terms. Once you're done with your studies, then you have 1 year of OPT. So 1 year of study, 1 year of only work, and you're paying your program fees throughout those 2 years. So it really breaks it down that it's manageable for you to pay. Thanks. So a little bit more about the university and the program. The other thing that is important about this program, because there's a lot of, maybe these things sound interesting to you. There's other options, but the important thing about Alliant International University is that Alliant has really strong accreditation. So there could come a time in your future where you're applying for other visas in the US, or you're applying for jobs outside, and they want to check your degrees. And we get these often, people who are in their career and they have a degree check where they just want to make sure about the university. They want to make sure about the accreditation. Alliant International University has a very strong accreditation. So in the US, our regional accreditation is the strongest. So Alliant has WASC accreditation, the Western Association. So that's the same accreditation as UCLA, USC. The very top Western universities have this accreditation. Again, accreditation is important if you want to proceed to something else in the future. Sometimes it can be really important to see how well known your degree was by the Department of Education and the accreditation. And Alliant also has a business school accreditation, ACBSP. For this program, Alliant has campuses in San Diego and Los Angeles. So that would be the place where you would be studying. Something significant, and while you're studying, you are on campus at the very beginning of every term and at the very end of every term. So every term is 8-week sessions is what they're called at Alliant. And you are on campus weeks 1 and week 8. Week 2 through 7, you're studying remotely on Zoom. So you can live in San Diego, you can live in Los Angeles. They're both very beautiful cities, and I know I'm very biased. Or you can live in other cities, which is what you're going to hear from the students coming up. There are start dates, 6 start dates. Every 8 weeks, there's another start date. So there's options depending on when your DS ends. The next available start date would be the one that you would start. So there our change of status experts are very good at timing that so that you can maximize your J-1 work experience and then switch to the work experience allowed on the F-1 visa. And the other thing about Alliant that's really important is Alliant allows for day 1 CPT. So CPT is that curricular practical training that we talked about that allows you to work while you study. Alliant allows, as long as you have your work set up, you know, whether it be from your J-1 position or whether it be from working with EduConnect to secure a new position, as long as you have that job offer letter, you can work as soon as you start the program. So these are, you know, when we designed this program, Alliant was the perfect partner to do this. They have the same mindset as EduConnect. In partnership, we wanted to design this program to make it, you know, very accessible to our potential students. And then, so that's all I want to say right now about the university, and we're happy to, you know, send additional information. But now I want to kick it off to, I'll pass it back to Rodrigue, who will introduce the students who can really tell you from their firsthand experience about this program.
Thank you very much, Jessica. So just to recap before we go to the students, the key point is you can extend your stay when you're on J-1, you register to university, you do a change of status, you have the ability to work. And the key thing, I think, is the financial aspect, meaning that you can stay in the US, get an MBA, and while you get your compensation, basically your salary every 2 weeks, you know that a portion of it goes toward your program fee. So that's why we did that payment plan that allows students to stay, live, and experience the US for 2 years up to 4 years, because one of the key areas also is certain OPT can be extended to 3 years. So the reality is that you can extend your stay for 2 years, but you can potentially stay for up to 4 years. But I think the best way to hear about it is through our students. So we have 3 students here, Saroj, Louisa, and Abhishek, 3 different countries, India, Nepal, and Madagascar, the beautiful island of Madagascar, Louisa. And they're going to tell us about the experience. So I would like really, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can really see, you know, in full screen, everyone talking. If Saraj and Louisa and Abhishek, if you want to put your camera on, and maybe Saroj, you want to start, say hi to everyone, introduce yourself. Basically, what we want to know for the people listening to this webinar is, Saroj, tell us about where you're from, what was your experience, you know, where did you go with a J-1 visa? How did you learn about EduConnect? What was the process, you know, to change status, to register to the university? Tell us about your full experience. I mean, I know we talked about it, you know, a few days ago, and even though I know the program very well, I love to hear from our students and love to hear his experience. And I was impressed, you know, by you, by Abhishek, Louisa. So can you please tell everyone, you know, what you went through, Saroj? And you have to unmute your microphone, Saroj.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are doing well. So I'm from Nepal. I came here as a J-1 in November 2023, and my employer was JW Marriott Miami Thornberry, which is in Florida. So, J-1 is like a great experience. It's a great opportunity to work with the professionals, with the different people from the different diversity, and it was a great experience. So yeah, and time passes by, you are always worried about your future, what to do next. You try to research about how can I extend my next stay, if you want to study, how to study, you don't have any idea. So there was my friend who referred me about Line International University and about EduConnect. And I started my doing research about the study and the EduConnect. So finally, I got a I got a talk to EduConnect, and we had a talk about like what is course about, how long is a course, and about the tuition fees, you know, and about the change of status. So we had a different. They told us about like uh, what documents you need, how long it's gonna be for the change of status. So before my visa ends, like before 2 months, I started doing my change of status filing, arranging my all documents, all requirements, and about the filing processes with the USCIS. And so I filed my change of status as a normal process because I had like 2 months time, but my term was like January term for my um, so I choose my term for January term to start my MBA. But before January, I didn't got my change of status approval. So at that time, EduConnect suggests me to do premium processes so that you can get your approval before your January term starts. So I did my premium process and then I got like in a week. It was a really super fast doing premium process. And and that time EduConnect also helped me about my placement because I wanted to move from the J1 employer. So EduConnect helped me about finding placement here. Right now I'm in Palm Springs and Parker Hotel. And yeah, my term started in January uh, as well as I started working at a CPT in Parker Hotel. And I'm talking about like um, this work and study. It's like it's flexible. You have to manage your time. You need to make your schedule. You need to let your classes to your managers or your executive chef so that they will make your schedule flexible according to your class and in-person class. And yeah, and something else to share about is like it makes you grow, as you are doing work and you have to do your assignments, you have to attend all your class, you don't want to miss your class. So like that, it will make you more professional, it will grow, and you learn day by day, like, you are, so you have to attend all the classes, you have to worry about your deadline of your assignments. So that was all from me. So,
Excellent. Saroj, so I have a quick few follow-up questions for you. So you were at the hotel in Miami at the Marriott. You had a good position. You wanted to stay.
mhm.
How long before the end of your J1 did you contact EduConnect? Like what do you recommend, to make sure you have time to register to the university, to prepare your change of status? How long before did you connect with us?
So before like 3 months,
3 months?
I before 3 months, yeah, I had a talk with EduConnect
Got it. And the
because
process yeah, the process to register to the university. I know, our team is there, but did you feel like you did they help you, and was the process easy to register to get admitted to the university? Was it something you felt that was easy, complicated, normal? What was your feeling?
It was like easy because before registering to the college, they send us like all the list of documents that what I need for applying to our school. And so before applying to the university, you need to gather all the document, and
Mhm.
that's required by the school. So we just have to send to our EduConnect, and so they will help to start your application.
Good, good. And then I'm always, uh, curious. You had a good position. You've been 1 year with the W Marriott, and you wanted to change hotel. Was it because you wanted to discover different state in the US? Was it because you were unhappy with your employer? Was it because you were looking for different opportunities? What went through your mind?
So yeah, the first thing is like I want to explore myself in a different state. Yeah,
Okay.
and then I know I had a good time in JW Marriott. I worked like different kitchen, like fine dining, banquets, casual restaurants. I had a different experience, but I just wanted to experience a different state, and this hotel is like a independent hotel. So
Yeah.
I just yeah.
And now, I mean, for also the people attending this meeting, because I'm sure many of them are wondering, should I stay with my employer? Should I change employer? And I think there is pros and cons. If you stay, they know you already. You can have promotions and have better position quicker, or you can go back and start fresh with a new employer. But the process, can you tell us about how did it work with EduConnect, Career Connect to find a new employers? Because we have this Career Connect service, we have a team. Who helped you, and how did they help you to find a new employer? Did you find the process efficient? What was your own experience?
Yes, it was efficient because I had like different the list of hotels that's connected with the EduConnect and the different employers. So I applied like 4 or 5 brands hotels for my CPT, and also EduConnect naturally helped me to find this job to have an interview with a manager. So and finally I had a talk with my executive chef like before a month before a month,
Mhm.
I had a talk with my executive chef about my all my, the requirements of school. So, I just let him know that about my about my school,
Mhm.
and before joining there, I just let him know that I needed 2 days off. 2 days off for my school. I need to go school. Like it's 2 months. I have to go school. Uh, can you able to make my schedule flexible? So they said, yeah, that's fine. So I just joined my party.
Yeah, and just for everyone to have an understanding, Saroj works at the Parker Hotel, which is approximately 2 hours from Los Angeles in Palm Springs. So the good
Yes.
thing about this program being hybrid is that every 2 months you go on campus, you have courses on campus every 2 months for 4 days approximately. And then the rest of the week you have online courses that you take hybrid model. So even if you don't work in Los Angeles, and you will see also with Abhishek and Louisa, which are traveling from even further out, that it's still possible. But Saroj, I'll come back to you toward the end of the presentation, but let's have Louisa tell us about her experience. Louisa, are
Yep.
you there available? Can you turn on your camera? I don't see Louisa. Maybe she had a technical issue. All right, so let's go with Abhishek. Abhishek, same thing. Do you want to introduce yourself? I'll just quickly say that you're from India. You have a lot of experience in the hospitality. You work in India for the Taj group. But please tell us about your experience and your life in the US.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Abhishek. I'm from India, Calcutta. and right now I'm doing my CPT in the Lake Nona Wave Hotel. I started my career as a front desk agent in India. I worked for the Taj group of company, then I moved to a Marriott group of company. Then I heard about the J-1 exchange program, so I came here as a J-1 internship program, and I did my internship in a front desk department. When like in the month of November, when my visa was getting expired on the 2025 February, so I heard about the EduConnect from one of my friends. So I decided, like, I research about this program and everything, and I connected with them, and they helped me like a lot of things. And it was very easy for me to change of status because I choose in a premium process. So that will take only a week for me to change my status, and it was very smooth. The representative of EduConnect were very helpful. They will allow you to get the documents. They will help you around everything to get everything done before your submission. So then after I was applied for the F-1, and my college was started in the month of March. So I did my CPT through, and I find this placement through the EduConnect channel because they help me a lot for my process and for the placement as well. And right now I'm doing well. So almost like 3 months I'm working for the Lake Nona Wave Hotel, and my classes is on every 2 months. So I have to visit California. I'm staying in Florida right now, so it's far from here, almost like a 6 hour flight. So it's not worried about me. So if like college will provide you the dates in every 2 months before, so that will be easy for you to like book a ticket and plan your education. And the property is providing you enough like wages so you can study and you can pay your fees as well, and you can save your money as well. Not like you will not save like a 10,000 bucks, but you have to make a plan to save your money and pay your fees at around. So I think most of the students are turned off their cameras and mic. This is the best chance to speak with like your current student. If you have any question regarding anything like college placement, your change of status, everything, so this is the best chance to speak and ask a question about us. So I will wait for the question, and I will answer whatever the question will come.
Yes, definitely. And we will do that, Abhishek. In a few minutes, we'll turn on the microphone for everyone to ask their question. Uh, but before that, same thing. I have a few questions for you to really understand. So you said that you worked in Washington D.C. and New York, right, for the Hyatt Group during your
Yes.
J-1, and same thing. Then you went through EduConnect and Career Connect. So our team helped you find another hotel you wanted to change, and we help you find a hotel in Orlando, right?
Yes.
So probably if I am about to finish my J1, and I'm probably asking myself, should I move to Los Angeles to be close to campus, or should I stay with my employer far away? For you, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Like you say, you have classes every 2 months on campus, the rest is online. And can you tell me, how do you organize it? Because I imagine still, you have to pay the cost of flight, and then you have to go in a hotel or with some friend. How do you do it every 2 months to make it like affordable and make it work? Because obviously you have a salary, but you have to pay your rent in Orlando, you have to pay your living expense, your tuition. But it seems that it's something totally feasible for you. So can you tell us? I remember you told me that you go with friends, and how do you organize yourself?
So, like I'm getting my paycheck bi-weekly. So the first things I paid my fees because that is the mandatory thing to pay if you want to be educate yourself. So then after I'm saving some of money so I can pay my rent in the month of last, and whatever the amount is rest, so I'm keeping in my pocket. So every like I'm getting off in 2 days in a week from my property. So I'm going outside with my friends so I can relax my mind because we have to work, we have to get a college education. So it's pretty easier for me to save my money because I'm having a plan. And whenever I'm going to college, they provide your dates. Like if you're ending your session, so that day they will allow you to get your the proper dates of after 2 months. So come back in the college. So I plan everything, and when I back from California, I always try to book a flight after 1 week. So that will cost me a less amount. It approximately like $100 for me. So up down trip will be cost me around 225 dollars. And when you will like join the college, so you will get a most of the students from outside, inside, everywhere. So you have to be a like create a community. So you can stay with your friend. You can book a hotel, like two queen bed, one king bed, and you can share with the like the wages with them. So that will be easier for you. That's the thing. You have to make a plan, make a friends. You will get a like better opportunity to make a community over there as well.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And and how is your I mean, the work, and then as far as academically, how do you like the courses, the professor? Are you learning every day? What do you think? Does it gives you a more opportunity in the future?
So the courses is very reliable, like that will help you to like grow yourself, because like after joining this courses, just the previous month I just receive a May start of the month in my property, and that helps me from my previous education and this MBA. So whatever you are learning, you can implement those things in your property and the current situation. So that will help you to grow yourself in your property. And the process and the work style in America is very different. You will get a chance to like speak with your manager directly. You will speak with your director of operation directly. They will give you the chance to share your problems, share your thoughts and everything, and they will help you out to grow yourself as well. So this is the things. If you are coming to USA, if you are working for the hotel, so you will get a like definitely will get an opportunity to grow yourself over here.
Okay, got it, got it. Okay. Jessica, maybe we should open the microphone. There are a few questions coming. There are some questions about the fees, for example, for the change of status. Yes, there are fees. Uh, Briefly, the overall cost for change of status is approximately $3,000 because if you do the premium processing, a little bit over $3,000 because the premium processing, unfortunately, is at almost $2,000 to get an answer within 30 days. And then as far as filing fee to help you prepare the whole file, we charge $1,200. So yes, there is a cost for change of status, but it's still cheaper than going back to your home country, traveling, coming back, and paying for the visa in your home country. And mainly, I think the key is that it's almost, I mean, we will never say it's guaranteed, but the probability of obtaining your change of status and your F-1 visa within the US is much higher, way much higher than going to apply at the embassy. Um, there is another question here as far as, I'm curious about the document required by USCIS. Again, we will send you the whole list because we unfortunately cannot go into all the details, but, you can contact us, after this webinar. We will answer all your questions. We will give you the list of documents to prepare. It's a process. The good thing is that, as Jessica mentioned, we have intake classes starting every 2 months. So if your J-1 is finishing in February, well, you can register for March, and you have no basically gap, meaning you finish your J-1 and you start your F-1 visa and you start your CPT, so you can continue working right away. Worst case scenario, you have a few weeks where you cannot work. Let's say you finish in January and you want to apply for March intake. So during the month of February, obviously you cannot work because you no longer on your J-1 visa, but you're not yet, under the university and the MBA program, and you cannot start your CPT until the program starts. So the gaps are very, very short and allows you to stay. But let's open the microphone. I think Isabella had a question.
Rodrigue, real
Yes.
quick, as before we do that, about please reach out to us individually. There's some questions that we can answer for the whole group, and then some are more personalized. So the executive MBA program fees are the same for everybody, no matter what. But when it comes to change of status, it's really important to know it's not one size fits all. You will have a person working on your specific case because the timing is so important. So one of the questions I saw was, do I have to do premium processing? Can I do regular processing? You will have a person who you will work with to decide what's best for you. Sometimes students go ahead and do the regular processing, and then they can, the only thing about that is you just don't know how long it's going to take. It could take a month, it could take 3 months, it could take 6 months. So
It could take a year.
you could take a year. But we have had students try it, you know, it's worth a try. And then you can always add premium processing as the time gets shorter. So that impacts with the cost. So the government has a flat fee for change of status, and then they of course has an extra fee for premium processing to process it faster. But it's really important to share your specific case with somebody so they can review it and give you the exact amount before you proceed with anything, so that you get the amount for your case. Let's see. And I see here.
Okay, Isabella, I think your microphone is allowed, so you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and you? I wanted to ask, what are the qualifications to be able to apply for the program? And yeah, like what I need.
So the very first thing is to be eligible to be admitted to Alliant. And the biggest thing is you need to have a bachelor's degree. So a bachelor's degree from your home country, you know, that you've completed. So that's the first thing that one of the main things that Alliant is going to look for. So once you have that, the other documents they will need is transcripts from your university. So that's something that you submit in the admissions process. When you're going through the admissions process, this can all be digital and unofficial. So you can submit copies of your transcripts to Alliant. They'll review your courses. They'll review your bachelor's degree. Make sure that that you're qualified. The other documents that you submit are your passport, so they know you're doing change of status, your visa. The other thing is that, and I saw a question for this too, there's a financial certification form for Alliant. So the financial certification form is something that shows the U.S. government that you can support yourself for the length of the studies for a year while you're studying. This is something that we get tons of questions on, and we can talk to you more individually about it. But basically, what you would need to show is you have a form with an amount, and it's like 28,000 US dollars. You need to be able to show that from one sponsor or many sponsors, and sponsors meaning friends, family, or your own bank account, that you can support yourself for a year. So the US is different than other countries that you study in. You show one or several bank statements that equal that amount, and then that meets the qualifications. So in other countries, you need to have that amount in an account for an extended amount of time, or it has to be certain sources. So that's one thing that in the US and at Alliant, it's a little bit more flexible. So there's a financial certification amount that you have to be able to prove, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. So first you would get admitted to the university. And the second step would be once you have your admission letter, that's one of the key documents for the change of status. And so then all of those documents, it's basically doing a visa interview, but you're in the US. You just submit all the documents because you've already been vetted to come to the US. So now you're just kind of doing it administratively within the US.
And just to add to that, Jessica, for the certification form, a lot of students, what they do is sometimes obviously you don't necessarily have the funds on your bank account, but your parents can help you, your uncle can help you, So we have a lot of students that get a letter from their parents or from their family members saying that I'm going to help, my niece, I'm going to help my daughter, my son to pay for their tuition and living expense. And I have that amount of money on my bank account. Here is my bank account, and just a letter to certify that they will help you. And that's sufficient to show that you have someone with some funds that can help you to get your visa. Obviously, when you apply to the university or when you apply for an F-1 visa, the main intent is actually to study and to do the MBA. The main intent is not to work. The great thing is that you can work while you study, but we always have to show to the immigration officer when we send the file that your intention really is to get an MBA, that you want to educate yourself, you want to have a better degree. So they don't take into consideration the fact that you will work, that you will get a salary, that you will be able to pay for your expense or most of your expense, with your salary. They want to know that you are able to study in the US and pay for your living expense. That's why they ask the certification form, and that's why they ask a support letter from your family or for yourself if you have the funds. So the good thing is that if you are in the US on the J-1, most of the J-1 students do save, a certain amount of money so they can show a certain amount of money on their bank account. Obviously, probably not $28,000 or $30,000. But then with the family help, family sponsors, I know, Abhishek can probably talk about it, or Saroj, they may not have that amount of money in their bank account, but the family help and they got different letter. Abhishek, can you tell us, I know you told us about like in India, you have to request it in advance. Can you tell us how you did it for you and how it worked?
Yeah, like I was in the J1, so I was not if enough like sufficient money over here. It's almost like show 28 to $30,000 in your account, and we are not getting any like a wages to save our money like $30,000 in US. So I reach out to my family, and my mother was representing me, and I have sufficient money in my Indian financial account. So my mom went to the bank and they asked me about the letter and everything to show the money like we have a sufficient money in account and they can sponsor me over from there. And the Indian bank took like it was a government bank, they took like longer time. So but my mom was reaching out every day to get my admission as soon as possible. So however, I just received a bank statement and I just provided to the EduConnect representative, and it was smoothly. That took 3 days to be approval of my change of status.
Got it. Okay. So 3 days was pretty quick. Well, for your information, we recommend for all of you, if you're interested, contact us 5, 6 months in advance before the end of your TS 2019, your J1. Okay. You don't need to pay the fee 6 months in advance. You don't need to commit 6 months in advance, but at least you have all the information. At least you can prepare. And then, when it gets closer, obviously to start the process there is a registration fee of $375, okay, but you don't have to pay the $3,130 until you get your change of status approved, until you get your visa approved, for the US. So there is no risk on your side, beside the 375, because you won't have to pay the 3,130 to register with us and Alliant for the MBA program until you get your change of status approved. Okay, so we will give you all the information. We'll work with you, but the key is really to start early. If now some of you have your DS 2019 ending in a month, okay, let's say your DS 2019 end in August or September, okay, we can still help you, okay? We can expedite the registration process. We can, with the premium processing, we can have an answer, like I say, in 7, 8 days. Like Abhishek say, the admission process for Alliant was 3 days for him. So it can be very quick. If you are in that situation, you have a DS 2019, your J1 visa is ending in basically a month, 2 months, don't give up. Still contact us. We'll do our best to help you. We'll do our best to get you approved and admitted to Alliant, and we'll do everything we can to expedite your change of status process. Okay. But obviously, the earlier you contact us, the better, because also we will start the filing process, the research process for a new employer if you don't want to stay with your employer. So we will start the process of looking for a new employer early so that as soon as you start the program, you have an employer. I have a question as far as that. Are you going to have a partnership with the Vatel group? Yes. We actually also run the Vatel Hospitality Management School in Los Angeles. So we're very familiar with Vatel, and it's a different program. The tuition fees are different, but yes, we do have a connection, and we can help you with the Vatel program if you need information. Before we end this meeting, any other question for any other attendees? You can raise your hand, and if you don't have question, Isabella has a question. Go ahead, Isabella.
She mentioned earlier that I need to have a bachelor's degree, but when I studied my course in hospitality, it was only a diploma, so that means I'm not eligible.
So contact our team, send us your degree and your transcript, and we will look into it carefully, okay? Because sometimes you can get equivalencies depending on the type of degree that you have in your home country.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Abhishek or Saroj, I'm sorry, everyone, that Louisa got a technical issue and was not able to tell her story. I think it's interesting. She's from Madagascar, and she works in Michigan. So same thing. She travels to come to classes, and she had a lot of, I think, great experience to tell, but she had some technical difficulties. But Abhishek or Saroj, anything you would want to add or any advice you would give to student like you a few months ago, right? You were a student just like 6 months, 8 months ago. And now you're like MBA student soon. I mean, almost like half in your program. So in 6 months, you'll be graduating with an MBA program. You're going to have a work permit for 1 year and stay here for another, year and a half. So anything you want to share, any advice you want to give to everyone listening today? Go first, Abhishek.
So my suggestion and my advice is to, if you want to stay in the US, so that is the easiest process, and you will get a chance to learn about the hospitality as well, and you can develop yourself as a manager in between 1 year. So you will get a chance to work for the hospitality, and you will learn physically, and you will get a chance. Definitely, you will get a chance after 1 year in your department. Your director, your manager, they will appreciate you, and if you have a capability, so they will give you the chance to be as a manager. So this is the easiest chance, and make sure that don't be in a rush. Like, apply this one at least for 3-4 months, because of the documents and everything. You need some documents that will take time. So that is the easiest thing to get a chance earlier, like a 3 months to give yourself. This is all from my side.
Thank you very much, Abhishek, for being here today and telling your experience. And we wish you the best until the end of your program and your stay in the US. Saroj, let us know what any advice, anything you want to add to everyone listening today.
Yeah, my advice is like, if you wanna really join this program, you have to do your CPT. So before joining your employer or new employer, just try to research so that you don't feel regret at later that about your property. And yeah, as I've said, this program is a great, like, you can learn, you can earn, and you can have some money to travel around the different states. Because in the US you can travel wherever you want. So yeah, that's my advice.
Thank you. Same thing, Saroj. Jessica, any word you want to add to finalize? So I just want to make sure everyone has the slide here, so you can take a picture, scan the QR code to schedule a call or a meeting with one of our team. We will also have another webinar at the end of August that we will do with a law firm. on, US visa, career opportunities for international students. It's going to be a little bit different because we're going to have a partner law firm talking about other type of visa, which are more complicated, but you can still come and attend this webinar. I think it's going to be very interesting also for you to get a broader views of all the legal aspect and US immigrations. But before that, Jessica, do you want to add anything? And on my side, I will leave you to Jessica. I want to thank everyone attending this webinar. I want to thank the 3 students who came today, and I want to thank obviously all the attendees. Thank you very much.
No, that's it for me. Thank you so much for everybody for joining. We are here to help you. Please reach out to us, email, by WhatsApp, schedule a meeting with us. I put them all in the chat. We're happy to help you answer your questions, and enjoy the rest of your day. And we look forward to speaking with you soon. And a big thank you to all of our students who joined us today and sharing your experience. We really appreciate it.